Today, a flame gets reignited. After a season off, it's the third all-time meeting between the Midshipmen and the Panthers. It's Division I men's lacrosse opening day, and the road to glory starts now. Good afternoon, everybody. Back alongside my partner, Jimmy Roselli. I'm Mike Guerriere, and Jimmy, a multitude of changes on both sides of the ball for High Point. A complete overhaul of the entire coaching staff. And for Navy, a ton of key starters head out the door. Xavier Arline, their quarterback, and Dane Swanson, that powerful Dodger that they had on the midfield line.
Oh, no doubt, Mike. And this is going to be an absolute new look for both sides. Obviously, Coach Crawley only being the second coach in program history. He has plenty of experience from John Hopkins and plenty of experience, to say the least, against this team Navy right here. It's going to be very exciting to see how he changes the program and all the things he can do. He has brought in a whole new staff now, so a completely new look for the program, new momentum heading into a new season. We'll see what he can do. And as you said, for Navy, new look. 4 out of their top 6 statistical players are gone. Now they have a shot. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be that go-to guy? One guy that has returned is Zach Hayashi, and he's been phenomenal for Navy, to say the least.
Zach Hayashi is going to be the man at the X for the Midshipmen, along with Luca Accardo for the High Point Panthers. It's a battle of power at the face-off X today. A new era begins for the High Point Panthers in some uncharted territory for Navy as we are underway here in 2025. An early whistle off the face-off will allow Navy to possess the ball here, so they'll start on offense here in the first quarter.
And there's an early battle right away. Zach Hayashi and Luca Accardo. I mean, two guys who are just going to duke it out all day long.
Flattery, a Chaminade graduate, taking on a much bigger role this season. Almost that entire starting first midfield line graduates for the Mids.
And we spoke about that in the intro, how big it's going to be for Navy to see who steps up. Only Talker is the only guy to come back who really had a big season last year. It should be interesting to see how the young guys can play.
It's a veteran-heavy defense as some early season woes already occurring for the High Point Panthers. And like the Midshipmen, they graduate a very large senior class as they look to usher themselves into this uncharted territory, as I have mentioned before. An entire new coaching staff, as we mentioned off the top, as the Midshipmen possess the ball here. LaRocco takes it down the alley, gives it at X. Haley gets above goal line, extended. Makes his way through the double, and now Flattery. Great defense from the freshman LSM. Flattery fires, and it ricochets off his teammate in Carter Ash. Almost 2 minutes of full-time possession here in this first quarter. Officials stop. They'll talk things over. And with 13-11 left to go here in this first quarter, High Point will possess the ball for the first time here in 2025.
Wow, Navy just dominated there, Mike. First 2 minutes of the game, you couldn't have asked for a better start. They were just missing the goal. That's it. The offense looked good. Ball movement was great. High Point now with their first chance of the season.
Head coach John Torpy heads out the door, and new head coach John Crowley steps in, and it was a whirlwind of events for him stepping into this program. Cleaned out his office at John Hopkins, and the next morning at 6:30, hits the road with his fiance, and by 4:30, he's brought in as the new head coach of the High Point Panthers. Wickstead sporting a new number in number 2, two-man game at X. They've got the invert look with Ian Can as he loses the ball, picked up by the defense, and you're going to see a lot of this compact defense from the Midshipmen as they try to push transition here. Kittelberger unable to collect that one, and High Point takes it right back.
There's that hard hustle defense. High Point represents that heart and resilience so well, and Crawley's been a big impact as to why.
Under 12 minutes now left here in the first quarter. Still 0-0 if you're just joining us. Mike Guerriere and Jimmy Roselli here from Vert Stadium as the Panthers take on the Midshipmen for the third time. Rove turns back, fires and scores! The Panthers strike first in 2025. 11:42 left to go. High Point up 1.
How about that? Beautiful move, generates the space, top shelf snipe. It's the junior striking first for the Panthers, keeping the momentum alive, and he was fired up. So after Navy dominates possession time, the Panthers just find a way to answer back, and that is exactly what you asked for from the offensive side of things for the Panthers.
Luca Accardo battling for that ground ball. A scrum right now. As Hayashi, as Coach Crowley called him, a pit bull for this Navy specialty unit. Flags fly as Luca Accardo tries to pick it up, and it looks like it's going to be a push without possession. As 11:24 left to go here in the first quarter. As we'll see this EMO for the Midshipmen step out, and the first test for this man-down defense, and a new face in net for the High Point Panthers, Jude Smith. After only playing in 3 games last season and 8 saves, he gets the start here today. We'll possibly see Zach Overend in the second half of this game, but what Jude Smith has done in fall camp has really impressed the entire coaching staff.
Yeah.
Taking a huge step up from that freshman level into his sophomore season. We'll see if there's a sophomore slump, but by the way the coaching staff spoke about him, it doesn't look like there's going to be one.
I mean, making that hop from just 3 games last season to that starting spot here.
The Midshipmen strike back. They tie things up at 1. 11:02 left to go here in the first. A beautifully placed shot in that lower right corner. Way to change levels there on Jude Smith. How about it? What a beautiful go. Jack Ponzio from Ronkonkoma, the freshman, gets his first goal of his career.
So to start the game now, 2 great shots, right? You start with the Panthers getting on the board early, and now Navy striking back. Once again, generating the space, low to high shot. Beautiful finish.
The Mids back on offense. They have controlled a large amount of the offensive possession here today. Now 10:40 left to go here in the first. As we are tied here at 1 apiece. Great look on the inside. Jude Smith stonewalls that one, and they'll step into their clear here. John Adams, one of the key returners for this High Point Panther team, with the ball there. Smith loads one up and finds Ryan Hines as that second midfield unit for the Panthers trots out there. Colin Cook, Ryan Hines, and a couple youngsters on this roster as well for the High Point Panthers. Some freshmen getting some run. Hines with it, steps in, and scores! Ryan Hines with a Panther goal.
That was perfect. Ryan Hines sees the space across the midfield, comes right down the alley, fires the shot, and gets his 7th of his career.
And there's one thing we know about this matchup, that even in its young history, It's been a close matchup through and through each and every single time. High Point leads the all-time series 2-0 as they look to try to find victory here in this new era. As A.J. Marsh carries it over the midfield line and gives Navy the possession here. And Zach Hayashi, one of our players to watch here in this game. And the coaching staff for High Point spoke highly about them. Driving down the lane, and that one's fired wide left. But Hayashi, Rookie of the Year in the Patriot League and a dominant force at the X, and is going to take a large step up here today for the Mids. Ash. Gets it out X to Garza. Garza gets shut down as they get it back up top. That one ricochets off the pipe. Still alive. Oh, wow. Over the shoulder. Ricochets as well, and Navy keeps possession. .8:25 left to go. 50 seconds on the shot clock. Here for the Mids. Fires, and that's an easy stonewall save for Jude Smith.
He's had himself a start here, Mike. The youngling stepping up. Couple of big saves on that possession with a little help from his friends on the pipes.
Under 8 now left to go here in the first. They'll spin it back at X for Wickstead. Rove gets it to Can. Wickstead surveys and back up to Rove. Rovier loses the ball on the carpet, but picked up by High Point. Steps in, and that one is wide right as the keeper makes the save. High Point still with it.
There's that fight from Ian Can. Kid's got grit.
A new look at this Panther attack unit. You lose 2 key starters in Braden Maye and Jack Van Overback. Both 60-plus points in their senior year, and it's hard to replace those two guys and those tremendous skill sets, but kudos to the young guys for really stepping up and buying into what Coach Crowley has put in place. That shot ricochets off the pole, and the Panthers still with possession, a fresh 60 as they look to slow the tempo here. First midfield line out there. Great veteran cue from Jeb Brenflack, the Penn State transfer. Can gets away from his defender, and that one very close to sneaking in. As under 6 minutes now, 5:50 left to go here in the first as the Mids push transition. They have numbers, and they'll turn things around and slow it down. They'll get their substitutions in the first midfield line will head out.
Yeah, that's veteran decisions there from Navy. Slow things down, run the offense, get the subs in, see what you got here. Still got 5 minutes left here in the first. Only down by 1, and Navy's momentum so far offensively has been terrific. They've been getting the shots off, but a couple great saves here from Smith.
Right on cue. The Mids tie us up at 2. 5:22 left to go. And what a start for the young freshman. Absolutely fantastic here early on. And with 5:22 left to go, the Mids tie us up at 2 as we step aside for our first commercial break on ESPN+.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Music to my ears.
You don't have ears.
Starry, it's different.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
There's a difference between being big and being strong, between trying something new and doing something great, finding answers and creating the future. At First Citizens, we understand that difference. We're resilient, relentless, and working together, there's nothing we can't achieve. For everyone who counts on us, there's always a difference. And that difference is who we are. First Citizens Bank.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Music to my ears.
You don't have ears.
Starry, it's different.
Welcome back here on ESPN Plus as we take a look at the man in charge, the second head coach in High Point lacrosse history, most recently with John Hopkins as their offensive coordinator, and has been widely regarded as one of the brightest young offensive minds in the game of college lacrosse, and he looks to bring his expertise down south here in High Point, North Carolina, as we are back underway here in the first 5:10 left to go in the first quarter as High Point possesses the ball off the face-off, and it's going to be a battle at that face-off X today. Accardo and Hayashi, two very strong face-off guys, great Fogos with a ton of great counter moves, and they put in the work in the offseason, and it's going to pay dividends here in 2025 as Colin Cook skips it back up top to Hines. Hines, a strong midfielder, fires, and that one goes wide right of the cage. 60 seconds left to go on the shot clock.
And the Panthers are facilitating so well, but once they're on that doorstep, they just can't find a way to finish here. Both goals coming off the shot.
And we've seen smart shot selections here today. It's all about being accurate and getting those first game jitters out of the way. And they're going to let these guys play here today as Wickstead gets tripped up, and the mids will look to usher into their clear. And last year, a team that cleared the ball at a very high clip as they get it over the midfield line. And a familiar face on that offensive side of the ball for Navy as former High Point offensive coordinator Kenny Brochart takes the position this summer. Still tied 2 apiece, 3:45 left to go. As Haley gets it to Tolker. Looking for that invert, fires, and the bouncer goes wide left.
Yeah, Haley's vision so far at X has been a big strength for Navy, to say the least, on offense. He sees the field so well. Unselfish player, great footwork. As you see it right there off the spin move. He's going to be an asset for this Navy team.
That pass is intercepted by Lang. They have numbers, 2 pulls in transition, and a trailer pull as well. Look at this break. John Adams had a goal last year, and they'll slow things down smartly. As I'm all in favor of a pole goal, but that shot goes wide, and chaos ensues for that High Point defense. They'd have to get back in really quick in order to slow down that Navy transition. High Point with the ball, 2:40 left to go. Still tied at 2 apiece here in the first. Wickstead. The Army transfer fires that one wide left. 2:25 left to go as we appreciate you sticking with us here on ESPN Plus. Mike Guerriere, Jimmy Roselli, as we bring you Navy at High Point on ESPN Plus. They got the look they want here with that two-man game, and short on short, rolls back, steps in, and smartly doesn't take that shot. 15 seconds on the shot clock now. Up top with Bren Flack. Bren Flack fires. Oh, wow! Jeb Bren Flack, the Penn State transfer, with a beautiful goal.
I was waiting on it, Mike. We were waiting to see the skill set he brings to the table, and he was so fantastic at Penn State. Now he brings that talent to High Point. One of his first touches, you see the dangle, just great footwork, finds a way to get the space, rips a slingshot, top shelf. Fantastic finish.
Very accurate shooter, a man-up specialist at Penn State, and made the decision to transfer to High Point, not only because his brother was on this team, but he felt that there was a lot more that he could offer at the offensive side of the ball, and you see it there. A very accurate shooter and has a variety of shot selections that he's able to put on the cage, as we see it showcased in full fashion there. Some commotion here at the midfield line. Big blow as Crowley really getting into this game as the Panthers lead 3-2, minute 30 left to go.
That's that high physicality play you're going to get with Navy. Coach Crawley was expecting it. He spoke to us in that coach's call. He said, anytime you play a service academy, they're going to bring some contact.
The midshipmen tie us up at 3 as Henry Tolker, Navy's second leading scorer last season, strikes here in the first.
And we were waiting for that action as well. 30 goals last season, 7 assists. Before that, it was 27, and then before that, it was 23. The kid can score, he can finish, he can shoot, and he's going to be one of those top dogs for Navy, and we're seeing it early here, tying it up at 3.
Accardo wins that one cleanly, and he'll spin that ball back to Luke Derman. And a lot of young guys stepping up here on this High Point roster. With under a minute left to go, 50 seconds on the clock. Shot clock no longer in effect. Can High Point head into the second quarter with a lead? Now at X with Wickstead. Wickstead, fast and agile, a very physical attackman. Souza gets it to Cook. Cook, another key veteran presence. $15 seconds left to go here in the first. Hines takes the pick from Bunting. That ball taken away by Ash. Forgive me, Marsh, the one to clean that up. And the vacuum ground ball picked up by Darrow. And a big hit from Bunting as the first quarter comes to a close. Tied at 3 apiece. A back and forth affair here in High Point, North Carolina. We will be right back for the start of the second quarter here on ESPN Plus.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
There's a difference between being big and being strong, between trying something new and doing something great, finding answers and creating the future. At First Citizens, we understand that difference. We're resilient, relentless, And working together, there's nothing we can't achieve. For everyone who counts on us, there's always a difference. And that difference is who we are. First Citizens Bank.
Thanks for getting these sub bowls.
Of course, no problem, big bro. Let's eat.
Danny DeVito? What did you do with our uncle?
Well, that doesn't matter. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. What matters most are these sub bowls.
Wait, has Danny DeVito been my brother my whole life?
I guess so. Don't tell Mom. Your favorite sub, hot or cold in a bowl. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Back here on ESPN Plus as we take a look at Joe Amplo for the midshipmen, and he has been a true leader for Navy as he is in his 6th year at Navy, 13th season as a collegiate head coach, and has a tremendous track record to go along with it. A large part in the uprising of the Marquette Golden Eagles, and he was a large part in the reason why they were able to make a championship run and 87 career wins. He spent 7 seasons at Marquette, and his success has translated to the midshipmen, and he's been a tremendous leader for those young men on the Navy sideline.
And this is a familiar matchup we've seen, Mike. I mean, not the first time they faced. Last season they faced, it was John Hopkins versus Navy. It went to overtime. It was a nice nail-biter, and you may have one again on your hands today. They have plenty of history together. Coach Crawley has so much respect for Navy as a whole, and, of course, Coach Amplo. So it should be exciting to see how this one goes and how they handle it.
High Point will control the possession. 14:30 left to go here in the early goings of this second quarter. Wickstead, drop step, fires and scores. Beautifully located shot for Justin Wickstead as the Panthers put themselves up 1.
So well-deserved, Mike, for that young man. Only had one last season, but Coach Crawley spoke so highly about this young man. He said he's just a kid who wants to be great. He's wide-eyed. He's ready to go during film, always asking questions, always trying to get better, and you're seeing it here. Coming from X, he plays so well back there, uses the footwork, uses the speed, finds a way to execute. A young man who has a bright future for High Point.
And I wrote this down in my notes. He will have an impact this year, and it's already starting to show. His ability at X, and we saw him come out of the midfield line a lot, and that was just because they had a loaded attack unit last year featuring the likes of Braden Maye, but Wickstead back in his comfortable position with that attack unit, and this offense is going to lean heavily upon him to find offensive success this season.
How about Luca Accardo again striking for the Panthers off the face-off, and he's filling some big shoes. Colin Hoban gone now. Who's going to be the guy to step up? Nice save there for Navy. There was a lot of question. Colin Hoban pretty much carried the majority of the face-offs for the Panthers last season, and Accardo only saw as many as he could get. He went 96 for 166 last season, and now he's got big shoes to fill against some high-level talent, and a good start so far here through the first 2 minutes of the second quarter.
Great defense from the High Point Panthers. John Adams will pick it up, and they'll step into their clear. And this has been a back-and-forth affair, as I mentioned earlier, and it's very much expected. It's a short history, but the rivalry has been ignited. John Adams with a great play to get that over the line. Time winding down. High Point possesses, and the man in charge, Justin Wickstead, gets things going. $12:50 left to go here in this second quarter. Lutzel out of the midfield line. We saw him as the 4th attackman last season. Colin Rovier turns the corner. Unsure. Still has the ball. Lutzel. Now up top with Ian Can. Can takes the pick, open space on the doorstep. Lutzel scores! A beautiful feed and finish, and that's that motion-fueled, positionless offense that Coach Crowley has brought to this High Point team. They go up to now 5-3, 12:22 left to go, and just look at this, Jimmy. Beautiful, beautiful feed on the doorstep.
Yeah, that's that unselfish play that Coach Crowley's trying to really emphasize in here. Gorgeous feed from Can, and Lutzel able to get his first of the season. He had 19 last season. Again, you spoke about how he came off the bench and was able to really execute for the Panthers. He's doing it again this season. Just a great finish on the doorstep, and even better on the unselfish play.
And it looks like Navy will take a timeout here. Great heads-up timeout from Coach Joe Amplo, but we will step aside here on ESPN+.
On top of the world, me and my clique. Got it out the mud, now we all lit. This how I feel to be rich, black and poppin'. The feelings I can hear the money calling. Yeah, me and my friends.
Jen loved her Gain flings. Then Brad showed up with Gain rinse and beads. When they mixed their scents, they discovered they were scent mates. Smells like it's gonna last. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
What are we doing today, Coach?
So, today, we're going to work on our checking on...
Oh. Sorry, I heard checking.
A bit of a misunderstanding.
I meant checking on how we can help save our customers money on their car insurance.
And whether they need car, home, boat, or pet coverage.
Precisely. Now, let's go again. Susan?
Always wanted to do that.
My turn.
Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
Best day of training so far.
How's your elbow?
It's killing me.
Did you know GoodRx can help you get a better price on your family's prescriptions?
I just open the app, type in the name of our meds. That's it. Savings on my asthma medication. All right, round two, baby, round two. Oh, yeah. Savings on my husband's blood pressure refills. And savings on my daughter's allergy pills.
Prescription savings for the whole family.
Have a good one.
Another good reason to check GoodRx.
We welcome you back here on ESPN+. The Panthers lead over Navy 5-3. And, Mike, I wanted to speak a little bit about how good Navy has been in their season openers. They're 98-18-1 in season openers. And above all that, they're 15-7 when they start their season on the road. So a team that has confidence not only playing at home, but really can take that momentum to away games and to away stadiums. Off their own field, they were able to really, really succeed as they have a 237 and 186 record all time when it comes to their road games. And, of course, I spoke about how they're so fantastic in their season openers.
Feet on the doorstep for the midshipmen as they find some success of their own offensively. The feed from Flattery and the finish from Carter Ash. Beautiful look. Pretty much a replica of what we saw on the opposite side of the ball for the Panthers. It's that Kenny Brochard offense, a lot of set pieces, and they just catch that defense off guard.
Well, that was on cue. Right as we're speaking about it, Mike, right when we're talking about how successful they've been away in season openers, they find a way to finish. And as you said, textbook ball movement, finding them on the doorstep. 5-4 game, now you're back in it.
$11:15 left to go here in the second quarter as the Mids possess the ball. Down one. The Panthers on a 2-0 run, but have built themselves back into this game. And I'll mention this many times. Back and forward. Loads one up, and that one goes wide of the cage. Had the opening space after the trip up from Jack McAdams.
Landolfi was looking to rip one there. Just missed wide. Well, here he is again.
Landolfi at him in Hassett, New York. Another one of these young guys on this midfield line that has a lot of uncertainties in it. He graduated a large part of it, and Dane Swanson heads out the door, and he was a tremendous recruit for the Mids, but a lot to prove, but the talent to do so. As that one goes in, tiptoes on the crease, they'll call it a goal. The Panthers obviously think his foot was in the crease, but we're tied at 5, 10:08 left to go, and a beautiful finish, battling with the freshman James Westbrook.
That's that heart and relentlessness from Navy. Great move. He came all the way around from X and found a way to finish on the doorstep. That's all you can ask. We're tied at 5 now.
And it was a great approach from Westbrook. I mean, he had the V hold. It's just hard when you have a strong finisher like that on the crease. As another young midshipman scores. Push in the back, the flag flies. That'll be a push with possession, and we'll see High Point's man up head out there for the first time in 2025.
It's going to be interesting to see how Crawley has developed that man up for the Panthers. First chance now. We haven't seen it. Nobody's really seen what he's able to do with this team, so it's going to be exciting to see who's out there, what the play is going to look like, and see how they run this offense.
When I was doing my research for head coach John Crowley, I often came across this quote: "You can't outrun good ball movement." And that's going to be the basis of this man-up unit for the High Point Panthers. If they can get the ball around, possess it, get it around the horn once, and try to throw this compact defense off guard, they're going to get those shots out wide. You see Isaiah Morin-Weeks in there. He's a great inside finisher. And we'll see what they're able to do here. 9:40 left to go here in the second quarter. Morin-Weeks steps in. The Canadian unable to find success as Dan Daly makes the save. And Dan Daly is a tremendous high IQ goalkeeper and just sees the field so well. Yard sale from Wickstead as the Panthers get the ball back. All even now as we keep seeing this momentum teeter on both sides of the ball.
And Wickstead has a big reason towards it. That yard sale there. Not only making plays offensively, but defensively as well here. It's all you can ask from a young man. Just a sophomore. And he's already looking so experienced through just 1 year of development here at High Point.
.35 seconds left on the shot clock. Rovier above GLE. No angle shot, and that ricochets off the pipe back into Lutzel's stick. Up top with Can. On the wing for Wickstead as he gets it back up to Can.
A lot of screens being set.
Wickstead. Now with the Army transfer. Gets triple teamed, somehow makes his way out of that one. Turbines himself away as Lutzel gets it. That one knocked down. Bren Flack trying to get too fancy, but that ball will stay in bounds. 7:25 left to go here in the second quarter. Bren Flack once again getting too fancy, and the flag will be thrown. Might be a cross-check penalty that's coming in. And I believe that's what it will be. 7:14 left to go. Another man-up opportunity for the High Point Panthers. Unsuccessful on their first, but they got a real game rep under their belt. Let's see if they can find some success here.
it slashing. So here's that man-up opportunity. We'll see if they can execute and break the tie.
Minute penalty now for the High Point Panthers. Navy out there in a box and one. Clogging up that middle of the field. Compact is the best way to describe the Mids defense. Oh, unable to grab that one as Dan Daly gets his stick on that. And just a missed opportunity there. Unable to secure the pass. Isaiah Morin Weeks is one of those players that I really want to take a second to mention. I really believe that he has the ability to take that next step. It's just finding that confidence in himself.
And he had a chance right there. Little tic-tac-toe play on offense, just unable to hold on to it down the alley. Daly was all over it. But you're right. He had a great season last year. He was able to come off the bench, and he was an unselfish player. 16 games played. He had 7 goals scored, 4 assists, but it almost felt like he had more than just 4 with some of the passes he pulled off. I remember in that Mercer game, he had one coming across the middle. It was the season opener, just a tremendous find. His ability to be unselfish and find the open players is something that impacts this Panthers offense so well.
Flattery finds an open man. Ball still on the carpet, and the whistle stops the play. They'll reset here. 60 seconds now back on the shot clock. 5:25 left to go here in the second quarter. Flattery possesses, standing at a staggering 6'6". A large presence on this field. Tolker guarded closely by Westbrook. LaRocco gets upfield, and great save from Jude Smith. Backhand, unable to find the net as Jude Smith lunges towards the end line, and High Point possesses. Adams with another big clear here for High Point, as we'll see that second midfield line head out there for the Panthers. 4:30 left to go. Cook unable to collect that one. The Mids goosed out one into the stick of Tolker. Transition, somehow finds it, and they score. The Mids with their first lead here in the first half.
And that all starts with the defense there, Mike. Great hustle, pokes it away past the midfield line. Scooping it up was Tolker, and then all the way down, they run the offense. Couple quick passes, find a way to finish, break the tie, take the first lead of the game for Navy.
And we see that transition start from that incredible goose from the defender, and Carter Ash, the beneficiary on that pass. The Mids with their first lead here in the second half. A lot of great energy here today in what is a packed Vert Stadium. Great attendance for the home crowd, and you see a lot of family and friends traveling for the midshipmen as well, and a lot of great Long Island families there. There's about 5 Chaminade graduates. I'm an alumni myself, so got to give a shout out to those guys. A couple St. Anthony's guys. I don't know how I feel about that with that rivalry, but just a lot of great talent on this Navy roster as High Point possesses. 3:25 left to go in the second. Rovier unable to collect that pass, and starts to slow things down. 25 seconds on the shot clock, still enough time to facilitate. Can skips across. That one's off the stick of the midshipman, and it'll stay with High Point.
I like the idea there. Crossfield pass, so always a little risky, and Navy able to get a stick on it.
And that's one thing that this Navy defense does well, constantly keeping their sticks in passing lanes, and it just completely eliminates that skip pass and your ability to stretch the field. .245 left to go here in the second quarter, and Dan Daly well out of the crease here as he takes that one across. A nifty pass behind the back, and what a great clear. A pull goal! Oh my, A.J. Marsh! The second team All-Patriot League selection in 2024 fires a 5-hole look, and what a beautiful shot from A.J. Marsh. They increase their lead to 2, their largest lead in today's matchup.
Daly just flipped it behind the back. Marsh able to get some space, says, I'm going to let this one go. And some credit for the defensive guys today now. You're tender, throwing it up. Marsh gets a hold of it, long pole goal. How about that?
And High Point with a technicality. Looks like Luca Accardo went early, but great job there from A.J. Marsh to go overhand with it. It's not often you see a defender do that, and it's impossible for the goalkeeper to judge what plane that ball is going to be shot on. Jude Smith does a really nice job of trying to make that save, but just unable to do so. Great shot there from A.J. Marsh. The Mids with a lot of confidence now on their side as they find themselves now up 2, under 2 minutes left to go here in the second. And the midshipmen unable to get it over the midfield line in that 20-second window. Great ride from the High Point Panthers. Minute 30 left to go here in the second. Minute 15 now. Can. Gets it to Lutzel. Spins it to Bunton. Bunton nowhere to go. Gets it at X with Wickstead. Uses the pick from Bren Flack and gets the matchup he wants. Up top for Bunton, and what a save from Dan Daly. High Point gets it back. Fresh 80. 40 seconds left to go here in the second. Shot clock no longer in effect. High Point looking to claw their way back into this game. Both teams trading blows, but now Navy with their 2-goal lead. 20 seconds now. Can gets it intercepted. Here's the Mids pushing transition. That one fired high over the cage as they'll still possess. 7.7 seconds left to go here in the second. And timeout by Navy. With 7.7 left to go. The Mids with a 2-0 lead. And what a matchup this has been so far, Jimmy. Back and forth we have gone this entire matchup, but so far here in this second, it really has been all of the midshipmen's game. Dan Daly getting it done, and how about a goalkeeper getting a point on the board here in the early goings of 2025. Tremendous play here for the midshipmen.
Yeah, it's well-deserved for Dan Daly as well to get out there and tag himself an assist. I mean, we're going to keep referencing this coach's call, but Coach Crawley spoke about Dan Daly as well. He faced John Hopkins last year when Coach Crawley was there, and he had some terrific saves in the third and fourth quarter, especially that allowed that game to go to overtime where Navy would win it and take that one. And carrying that momentum here, you got to think this guy has not only made a couple big saves tonight, but he's also got himself involved offensively, and he's going to be just a stud for Navy as this season progresses. He's a experienced player, a junior now. He's upperclassman. He's still got a year left of development, and it's going to be very exciting to see how his save percentage continues to increase as he's got a 52% save percentage in his career so far.
Third all-time meeting between these two sides. High Point leads 2-0, and the score the exact same in their last two matchups. High Point winning by 14-13, and many similarities we will see today as the clock will hit 0 here from High Point, North Carolina. The Mids lead the Panthers 7-5 here in the first half as we step aside as the teams head into the locker rooms. What a game we have on our hands. Stay tuned for more here on ESPN+.
Check-in time is 3.
It's 2:55.
I know.
Is this what he's doing now?
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. No games, no fun.
Yes, Coach.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals make you share your turf with a host, try one you have all to yourself.
When emergency strikes, first responders are the first ones in. But on outdated networks, the crucial technology they depend on is limited. That's why T-Mobile created T-Priority, the only solution built for the 5G era that can dynamically dedicate up to 10 times the capacity for first responders. T-Priority, built for tomorrow's emergencies. Ready today.
Let's talk salary.
Great. What do you typically offer for this role?
It's competitive.
So is it like competitive salary or is it like competitive salary?
It's somewhere between competitive and competitive.
Right. And then the number would be...
Competitive.
With Indeed, you can avoid awkward salary conversations from the start.
Oh, a number.
What do you mean a number?
It's an actual number.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
We are back here at halftime from Vert Stadium on ESPN Plus. The midshipmen lead the High Point Panthers 7-5 after that first half was back and forth the entire time. High Point with much of the lead in the first, but the Mids in that second quarter took over and bit off a lot. As we take a look at my top 20 this year as we are underway here in 2025, and I only thought that it was necessary. Obviously, as everybody knows, Notre Dame at the number 1 spot, one of the best defensive players in the country in Sean Light, and you can't beat Chris Kavanaugh. He is a nightmare for opposing defenses. You look at Maryland at that 4 spot, they have a very strong keeper and a gross attack unit. The number 1 ranked transfer classes, you get Bryce Ford over from Fairfield and Matthew Keegan coming from Binghamton. You look at UVA as well, a bunch of freshmen who redshirted, and many believe that they would have a big impact, but McCabe Millen has the keys to that offense, and he is a proven player. Showcased it in his freshman year, and is going to do so in his sophomore year. As we look to my 11 to 20, as well as some of the border teams, you look at UNC, a great transfer class, but that question lingers. Can they gel in order to take that next step? The 5th-ranked recruiting class, they get a tremendous goalkeeper in Michael Gianforco from Princeton, and Owen Duffy is next up. He's another young guy that I am very, very high on. Towson, a team's worst nightmare. They have posed problems throughout the entire Division I men's lacrosse spectrum. But that's going to do it for my top 20 as we step aside. More to come here on Halftime.
Check-in time is 3.
It's 2:55.
I know.
Is this what he's doing now?
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. No games. No fun.
Yes, Coach.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals make you share your turf with a host, try one you have all to yourself.
When emergency strikes, first responders are the first ones in. But on outdated networks, the crucial technology they depend on is limited. That's why T-Mobile created T-Priority, the only solution built for the 5G era that can dynamically dedicate up to 10 times the capacity for first responders. T-Priority, built for tomorrow's emergencies. Ready today.
Let's talk salary.
Great. What do you typically offer for this role?
It's competitive.
So is it like competitive salary or is it like competitive salary?
It's somewhere between competitive and competitive.
Right. And then the number would be
Competitive.
With Indeed, you can avoid awkward salary conversations from the start.
Oh, a number.
What do you mean a number?
It's an actual number.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000 plus out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
Back here at halftime as we welcome you back here to Vert Stadium here in High Point, North Carolina. Mike Arriere, Jimmy Roselli here on the call with you, and this has been a very physical game from the jump. Bodies are flying, and the aggressive rides from both teams have been a huge part in why this game has been so close. Physical is the name of the game, and these officials are letting these boys play here today. As I said earlier, this has been a very close matchup in the past 2 years that they have played 14-13. It's gotten down to the wire in each matchup.
And that's what you're going to expect, right? Physical play from a Naval Academy. Like, they have this heart, this passion for the sport. Not only for that, but they're playing for their country. They're playing to represent a bigger reputation than just themselves. And Crawley was expecting that, but he spoke about it in the coach's call. His biggest takeaway from those scrimmages was that this team was not going to be afraid of certain teams. They were going to pack a punch. They were going to step right back up when they got knocked down. And he said, you know, the easy part is to run your head through a wall, but the hard part is sometimes to look right and see that there's a door right there to walk through. So they're trying to play intelligently, but they're going to match that physicality.
And they certainly have here today. And it hasn't been too many highlights galore, but a lot of young guys stepping up on both sides. As we mentioned off the top, a lot of loss for both sides. 17 seniors for the midshipmen graduated last season as they move on to serve our country. And for High Point, they lose a large bulk of their offensive firepower. And that there's been many bright spots for this Panthers team as well as the midshipmen, as well as these guys are getting ready to get out back onto the field for the second half. And it's been a very close-knit affair. The mids leave 7-5. And as we take a look at the halftime stats, and it's been very close in all categories.
And again, we spoke about how it's going to be a close game. it's been a notorious reputation between these two teams to stay close. And right now, it's just been back and forth. One thing I do want to point out for Navy is that they're 1 for 1 on their man-up opportunities, but High Point so far 0 for 2. There hasn't been many whistles, right? We spoke about how physical it's been and that the officials are letting them play, but you got to capitalize on those things when games like this happen. You're going to have limited calls. You're going to have limited chances. You have to make sure you finish.
So we will step aside once more as we gear up for the second half.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Music to my ears.
You don't have ears.
Starry, it's different.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
There's a difference between being big and being strong, between trying something new and doing something great, finding answers and creating the future. At First Citizens, we understand that difference. We're resilient, relentless, and working together, there's nothing we can't achieve. For everyone who counts on us, there's always a difference. And that difference is who we are. First Citizens Bank.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Music to my ears.
You don't have ears.
Starry, it's different.
Back here after a short break here from Vert Stadium in High Point, North Carolina. We talked about those stats before, and Jimmy pointed out that that man-up unit for the Mids has been so far so good, going 1 for 1 here in the early goings of that first half. But the second half just about underway as we get another face-off between Luka Accardo and Zach Hayashi. Hayashi, as Coach Crowley mentioned him in our coaching call, is a pit bull, a dominant force at the X, and received Rookie of the Year honors in the Patriot League, rightfully so. He is an impact player and is going to do that for the next 2 years with the midshipmen. It's a great piece for Coach Joe Amplo to have back on his side as someone who has that experience and a young guy that is capable of producing those veteran values.
Yeah, I mean, his reputation speaks wonders on just how good he is. When he was going through the recruiting process, this was a guy who stood out amongst some of the best in the nation and proved why in his freshman year as he took that starting spot for the Naval Academy. He finished the season with a 61% face-off percentage, and he's continuing that high expectation into this season.
Ranked top 20 nationally last season in a very Fogo-heavy Patriot League. And another risky pass on the inside is knocked away by the midshipmen. 14:25 now left to go here in the early goings of the third. Rocco gets it at X. Ash gives it back, now up top with Flattery. Flattery steps in. Bouncer goes wide. 37 seconds left on the shot clock. Navy with their 2-goal lead. Flattery gets that one wide right as the Mids back it up. And you take a close look at that net for the High Point Panthers, as Coach Crowley mentioned before the game, it's going to be a two-man rotation. Jude Smith in the first and Zach Overend in the second. And we saw him start in a large amount of games last year for the Panthers. Their primary goalkeeper, trading halves with Christopher O'Grady, but he gets to start here in the second. Kick save by Overend, and he's off to a hot start.
Yeah, you said it best there, Mike. 14 of 16 games last season he was able to start, and he takes some momentum here in the second half. He was 9-7 last season as well, had a total of 154 saves. Straight flat at 50% on his save percentage. He's an athletic guy, not afraid to use the body beyond just the stick when it comes to getting in front of that ball.
154 saves and 154 goals allowed as he looks to drop that tally by much more this season, as it's still a battle for who's going to be in net for the Panthers. Skips up top to Bunton, and he scores. Owen Bunton, the Army transfer, gets his first goal in a Panther uniform.
I was waiting for that one, Mike. He had a couple of chances in the first half. I believe it was 5 shots that he took and just couldn't get the fall, whether defenders got in the way or sticks were involved. But about time now. He gets some momentum and his name back on the Panthers stat sheet. Welcome to High Point, Owen Bunton. Right back at it, Mike, battling Hayashi, Ricardo.
Very physical at the face-off X today, as I thought there was going to be a hold called there on Hayashi, but no whistle, and the Mids get possession. "12 minutes left to go here in the third. Here in High Point, North Carolina. The Mids strike right back. Beautiful goal from Navy as they put themselves back up 2. Evan Conway scores that one.
There he goes, getting himself involved as well. A couple of new ones stepping up here in the second half, and he generates the space well, comes down the left side, finishes left, right down low in that bottom right corner. Great bounce shot.
Fast break opportunity taken away as a pinch and pop from the Mids taken away, as they'll give Zach Hayashi a bit of a rest as Colin Shadowins was the one taking that face-off there for the Mids.
That lead back up to 2 now, Mike. Panthers got to keep their foot on the pedal, not let this one get away.
Getting a great look at that positionless feel for this High Point offense. Cook carries it over to Brenflack. Now at X with Wickstead. Has the pick there if he wants it. He'll take it. Cook gets put on the floor. Taken away. Navy picks up the ground ball, and Hines falls on the legs of Sean Gallagher, who was an absolute vacuum for ground balls. 62 GBs in his career. 29 last season and 33 in his freshman year for his career high.
Gallagher getting real aggressive over there. 3rd GB of the day. Getting active. Causing turnovers. Great defender.
Ten minutes on the dot left to go here in the third quarter. Navy once again with a 2-goal lead. Tolker flips it to Flattery. And they'll call a moving screen there as High Point catches a lucky break. .9:25 now left to go. Wickstead guarded closely by McGollum. Up top to Lutzel. Now Can at X. Marsh gets through. Wickstead. Reverses field. Feed in front. Can scores! Ian Can brings the Panthers back within one.
Sophomore to sophomore there, Mike. Wickstead to Can. And Wickstead just held that ball very confidently, trying to get some space. He couldn't find a way to break down the defender, but he saw Can cutting right up inside the alley. Great pass, even better finish down low. And there you go. You cut the deficit back down to one. Some momentum back on your side. Try and win this face-off here and keep it going.
Navy wins the ground ball battle here. 8:35 now left to go here in the third. 26 ground balls for Navy and only 19 for the High Point Panthers. And this game is won on the ground. You win that ground ball battle, it's a large chance you find yourself victorious at the end of the day. The Mids look to try to tack on another. Ooh, almost put in by Tolker. The quick stick goes wide of the cage. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Great defense from Luke Durman. And they're going to call a push there. Push without possession. As the midshipmen get the ball back. And Mac Haley, an experienced player in his junior year, looks to bounce back here in his junior season. A bit of a sophomore slump, but has a bigger role. That one goes in. The midshipmen back up 2. And a timeout on the field. 7:42 left to go. Navy grasping onto this 2-goal lead. We'll step aside and be back here shortly.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
There's a difference between being big and being strong, between trying something new and doing something great, finding answers and creating the future. At First Citizens, we understand that difference. We're resilient, relentless, and working together, there's nothing we can't achieve. For everyone who counts on us, there's always a difference. And that difference is who we are. First Citizens Bank.
High Point University is the premier life skills university, where student transformation is focused on personal initiative and extraordinary career outcomes. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
We are back here on ESPN Plus, and we'll take a look at the Patriot League preseason poll, and the midshipmen here undervalued in those preseason standings, as you'll see a team like Army, who is ranked within the tops of the top 10 in 2025. A lot of great teams up there as well. Boston U lost a lot of great players, but Brendan Kelly for Boston U, he had 60 points last season and has just this innate ability to score at all levels, and the Mids will pose a lot of issues as they are put in that 5th spot this season. Army leads the charge, then Lehigh, Colgate, Boston U, and then the last team in that Patriot League poll, Holy Cross. As we are back here on ESPN Plus after that short break. 7:20 left to go. The Mids lead 9-7. If you're just joining us here in the second half, once again, Mike Guerriere alongside my partner Jimmy Roselli here from Vert Stadium in High Point, North Carolina. The midshipmen make the trip down to High Point for just the second time in their short history, and as we've spoke about at a multitude of occasions, it's been a close-knit battle each and every single time, and you see it on the scoreboard, 9-7, as High Point looks to battle back here with their possession. Wickstead skips it up top. That one looks like it went off the helmet of a Navy defender. 13 seconds left. High Point has to do something quick. Wickstead upfield, and that one goes off the chest plate of McGollum. 4 seconds now. 3, 2, 1. And the horn blows. Great defensive stand there from Navy.
Yeah, you think High Point's trying to slow things down. They want to run their offense, and it's an intelligent game plan. However, when Navy steps up and is putting that high-pressure defense on you, that clock runs a lot faster than you think. Beautiful job from Navy to get that shot clock violation, and now you got possession. Try to extend this lead to 3. 6 minutes left in the third. Plenty of game left, so you got to keep your foot on the pedal.
A lot of time left indeed. 5:50 now left to go here in the third quarter. Haley spins it back for Flattery. The invert, now above GLE. On the doorstep, the midshipmen with their biggest lead in today's matchup. Henry Tolker, the key returner for the Mid strikes.
You can't ask for much more. Your returner, he's been the guy last season. He's going to be the guy again this time. Second goal on the day. He's got an assist to go along with it. Fantastic finish. Big play by the big man. And they lead by 3.
5:22 left to go as Navy boosts themselves up 3 for their biggest lead here in today's matchup. Accardo with a clean win. Gives it to Lutzel. And that one hits the chest protector of a Navy defender. Ball still on the ground, being fought for. Lots of commotion, and Accardo picks it up. The Panthers will slow it down. 60 seconds for them to facilitate some offense. The largest deficit they have seen today after they came out swinging in that first quarter. Hines, short-handed. Daly makes the save. What a day he is having as they get it over the midfield line.
Dan Daly, he'll step up in those high-pressure moments as the clock continues to tick. These saves become more and more important. And he's been a big factor as to why this lead sits at 3.
4:05 left to go. Conway picks it up. Tolker hedges in, but a great approach from John Adams took away that strong side. Conway, the senior, as Overin stonewalls that one, makes the save. Adams, been a big part in this clear game today, finds Dermott. Dermott looking for some help. He'll spin it back. 5 seconds they have, and they just get it over. Playing with fire with that 20 seconds. Bunton spins it for Wickstead. Now with Can. Can down the alley. Stonewalled by Dan Daly. He gets out of the cage. Aggressive play. Understood he had the help as they'll look to clear it here. And the fans here in Vert Stadium absolutely love it. A.J. Marsh pushing transition. Already has a goal here today. They have numbers, but they'll slow things down.
It's getting chippy down there. Some extra pushes and shoves. Ref's letting them play.
And let's hope that's going to be a trend all season long, as it's a physical game, and these guys are very physically gifted individuals and haven't had much stoppage here in today's matchup. LaRocco finds the back of the net for the Mids. They go up 4 and have scored 4 unanswered goals here in this second half. 1:51 left to go. A tremendous shot and score down the near side.
And Navy's just continuing this momentum here in the third. LaRocco this time coming across midfield and just firing that one. Using the momentum. His ability to get that shot off is tremendous. And the finish extends the lead to 4, carries this momentum into what could possibly be the fourth quarter if High Point doesn't find an answer.
Roman LaRocco with only 1 goal last season, played in 13 contests. What a start to 2025 for the senior from Mount Airy, Maryland. High Point trying to be aggressive on their ride, but this is one of the best specialty units in the entire country. And they're finally starting to find their footing here in their matchup here with High Point. 1:15 left to go here in the third. Can High Point find an answer? Or will Navy continue to pad on those goals? Time is getting short here for the Panthers. Under a minute left to go. Navy trying to kill as much time as possible. Giving High Point no opportunity. Conway guarded closely by McAdams. That one goes wide left. Had the opening, caught the Panther defense off guard, and Carter Ash looking to tally on another, looking for a hat trick today. Already 2 goals in this contest. 4, 3, 2, 1, and they score! Right before the buzzer, the hat trick for Carter Ash.
You could tell he wanted it. You could tell he wanted it. All over that one. Time ticking down. Barely a second left, and he finds a way to finish right on the doorstep. Well-deserved for Ash. First to get a hat trick here today, and perhaps the first of the National Lacrosse season.
William Goers, the freshman attackman, with a great find on the doorstep, and the hat trick for Carter Ash. As with 1.9 seconds left to go here in the third, Overin will airmail that ball, and we will head into the fourth quarter. 12-7, the Midshipmen lead the Panthers. It's opening day here in 2025.
Well, we engineered a fast, reliable Xfinity internet.
Isn't that the best part about working here?
No, it's the uniform.
Fast break speeds and low lag for nonstop action. That's Wi-Fi built for streaming live sports.
Let's talk salary.
Great. What do you typically offer for this role?
It's competitive.
So is it like competitive salary or is it like competitive salary?
It's somewhere between competitive and competitive.
Right. And then the number would be
Competitive.
With Indeed, you can avoid awkward salary conversations from the start.
Oh, a number.
What do you mean a number?
It's an actual number.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
Women's college hoops all season long on the networks of ESPN.
Whoa, how'd you get your teeth so white?
You gotta use the right toothpaste.
Dr. Campos?
Give me that smile.
Reality checkup. My toothpaste isn't whitening?
Basic toothpaste doesn't whiten like Crest 3D White.
Crest 3D White removes 100% more stains for a noticeably whiter smile.
Oof, that smile.
New personal best.
The #1 teeth whitening brand in America. Crest.
Back here on ESPN Plus, the fourth quarter just about to be underway, and the A10 preseason poll has Richmond right at the top, and they lost a lot of guys on that roster, but one player that is really going to be a player to look out for, and Inside Lacrosse had mentioned him as well. Gavin Creo had 2 goals in their bout last year here with High Point, and he's going to look to take a much larger step in that sophomore season. And St. Joe's in that #2 spot, and High Point in that 3rd position. A lot of uncertainty of what this team was going to look like, Jimmy.
Yeah, the A10 standings are it's a competitive conference, to say the least. It can always go either way, and last season we saw that on firsthand. So to see High Point at 3, they were an uncertain team. You got a whole new staff, a new program. You lost a lot of guys. Can they find a way to find their way to the top of the conference, or is it going to be Richmond doing Richmond activities, to say the least? I mean, again, some star players, some absolute studs on the team. It'll be a competitive conference all the way through.
High Point will start out this fourth quarter with the possession. 14-20 left to go in this matchup. The largest deficit they have had to come back from in this contest. Held the lead for the majority of the first quarter, most of the second, and it has been all Navy ever since here in this second half. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Lutzel looking to facilitate. Now 15 seconds. Wickstead with 10. Creeping close. Jack Norton jars that ball loose. Knocked down by Lutzel. Still on the carpet. Being fought for. Norton once again scoops that one up. Pushes transition. And he'll get over the midfield line.
That Navy defense has just been so strong all the way through, Mike. And there you go again for High Point, though. A little bounce back. We've talked about how this has been a teetering of momentum all game long. Back and forth. Both teams fighting. Just a well-action-packed game.
A.J. Marsh with the trail check to slow down this fast break. Hines Dives down the far side, finds Lutz on the doorstep, and the Panthers score. 12:56 left to go here in the fourth, and the Panthers finally find the back of the net here in the second half.
The second of the day for Lutzel, and he needed it. The Panthers, after a 5-goal run for Navy, you got to find an answer. You finally get some spark here early in the fourth, but that 12 minutes and 56 seconds is going to go quicker than you think, especially with the physicality this game has had and the limited amount of whistles that we've had as well. You got to ride this momentum all the way through and try and cut this deficit down.
It's not impossible for the Panthers to come back in this contest. 12:45 left to go as Luca Accardo wins yet another face-off. And they have won that battle at the X with those initial clamps. But as I mentioned earlier, this game is won on the ground, and it is becoming eerily close. 30 ground balls for Navy, 28 for High Point, and they get the possession here. The flag flies. It's a high check. It'll be called as a cross check. It's probably going to be a 1-minute man-up opportunity here for High Point. Their EMO has been unsuccessful here in today's contest, but as they say, third time's the charm. And let's see if High Point can put some more points on the board.
Big man up. Big man up opportunity. You finish here. Cut it down to 3. Plenty of time left. Continue that momentum. You see Coach Crawley's fired up on the sideline. He's loud. He's verbal. They want it bad, and this is going to be a chance that you need to capitalize on if you want to take this.
He's an animated human being, and we will see that this entire season as he's just a proven winner and wants to win every single game he plays and plays with that winning mentality. 12 minutes now. Morin Weeks gets it up top. Bunton gets it right back. Steps in, and that one goes over the cage. 29 seconds left on this man-up opportunity. Can. Back up top to Bunton. Now with Rovier. Back to Owen Bunting, and he scores! Owen Bunting finds number 2 on the day and puts the Panthers back on the board.
Bunton carrying that momentum from Army. He's got a little extra heat for Navy, and he's showing it today. 2 goals now. Rips that one from way out there. Nice low shot. 3-goal deficit now. You got to keep this going.
$11:38 left to go. The Panthers are suffocating this specialty unit for the midshipmen right now at the face-off X as Luca Accardo wins his 3rd straight. A bit of a mix-up in this first midfield line. Ryan Hines out there as we'll see a bunch of personnel shifts for this High Point Panther offense. Positionless to describe it. Hines steps in and scores! Ryan Hines finds the back of the net, and the Panthers within 2.
Another one joins the 2-goal club. Ryan Hines generating the space off the spin, fires it. How about that? 2-goal game now, Mike, and just when you thought the Panthers were out, they fight back. A pair, or maybe even 3 goals here in the past 2 minutes. Just fantastic. Never say die mentality. Again, it all starts with that spin move from Hines. He's just so good off the hesitation. We're going to take a short break here on ESPN+. We'll be right back for more fourth quarter action.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
There's a difference between being big and being strong, between trying something new and doing something great, finding answers and creating the future. At First Citizens, we understand that difference. We're resilient, relentless, and working together, there's nothing we can't achieve. For everyone who counts on us, there's always a difference. And that difference is who we are. First Citizens Bank.
Thanks for getting these sub bowls.
Of course, no problem, big bro. Let's eat.
Danny DeVito? What did you do with our uncle?
Well, that doesn't matter. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. What matters most are these sub bowls.
Wait, has Danny DeVito been my brother my whole life?
I guess so. Don't tell Mom. Your favorite sub, hot or cold in a bowl. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
11 minutes left to go here in the fourth, as the Panthers trying to claw their way back in this matchup. A 4-goal lead now trimmed down to 2 as Hayashi disrupts Luca Accardo's 3-win streak, and the Mids get the ball back. They'll look to try to control possession, slow things down. It's all about wasting time on the clock now. A lot of set pieces, and let's see what Kenny Brochart can draw up for his new squad. The find on the doorstep, and the midshipmen have the answer. Number 13 on the day, and it's a beautiful look on the near side.
And there's Haley getting his well-deserved goal on the doorstep. Kind of sneaks behind the defense. Quick catch and shoot. Breaks that goal-scoring run for the Panthers and stops the momentum spree. And Mike, it's been a game of momentum today. A 5-goal run for Navy, then a 3 for the Panthers, and Navy finally finding that answer there, extending the lead back to 3.
Just great ball movement there, Jimmy. Catches the defense off guard and finds that open spaces. Luca Accardo trying to will this High Point team back into today's contest. And it's all about if this offense can execute after those face-off wins. Wickstead getting some run up top. Hines bulldozes his way down the alley, gets it at X. 9:35 left to go here in the fourth. Bunton. A bright spot for the Panthers today. That ball's knocked down, scooped up by the midshipmen. They push transition. Bobby Kittleberger on that ground ball, a St. Anthony's graduate, here in his senior season at Wonton, New York. 9 minutes now left to go in the fourth quarter as time is running out here for the High Point Panthers. The midshipmen seem to always have a response here for the Panthers. Adams, a great lift as that ball rolls out of bounds, and it stays with the midshipmen.
And Ash was unable to finish there, but how about the footwork off the spin move, came around from X. Got the shot off, but couldn't slip it by.
That pass goes wild as Garza backs it up, gets it to Conway. Ten seconds now on the shot clock. Another pass goes wild. Open field. here for the Panthers. They push transition as the trailer drops the ball, but Brent Flack will secure it, slow things down. 7:55 now left to go here in the fourth.
This is an important possession. 60 seconds still on the shot clock. Take your time, make it count.
$7:25 now here in the fourth. 35 seconds on the shot clock. Cook loses it. Ball's in the air. Queen fighting for it as Navy will pick it up. Sean Gallagher, the ground ball specialist, gets it for the Mids. They'll slow things down. Navy sideline is hyped. 7 minutes left to go. As a stoppage in play, it looks like the midshipmen will go man up here with 7 minutes left to go. Looks like it might have been a high stick, and it was a 30-second penalty. Colin Rovier. So that penalty stops the clock. 30 seconds. We are uneven here from Vert Stadium. That one fired wide right. As Aiden Lau getting some of his first touches in today's matchup. Another Chaminade graduate looking to make an impact for the midshipmen. Flattery. Lau steps in and scores. Navy back up 4 as they're successful yet again on their EMO opportunity.
They've just been taking advantage of those man-up opportunities, and you see it here. Unselfish, great ball movement. They've wasted so much time on that one possession, and they were able to execute. Great shot, top left corner. Keep the momentum going for yourselves. Now only 6:30 to play for High Point. They got to try and find an answer here. You're down 4. It's a big face-off coming up.
Chaos at the face-off X as Navy picks that one up, and they'll clear the ball. 6:15 now left to go. Time running out. 4-goal lead as Marsh makes a great move. Can puts it on the ground. Scooped up by Westbrook. Finds Brent Flack. Brent Flack looking to facilitate. Gets it to Can. Can steps in. Dan Daly with a big save. And it's back down the other way for the midshipmen. Bodies collide. As words are exchanged now between the Panthers and the midshipmen. Ian Can and what appears to be Zach Hayashi collide right on the crease. Stops the clock at 5:50 now left to go here in the fourth. Navy will retain possession. Larocco, the ball carrier at the moment here on the near side. And play resumes. He skips it over to Flattery, who has been quiet scoring goals, but has been facilitating at a very high percentage. 2 assists on the day for the young man. An All-Patriot League selection. With 13 points last season. 5:10 now left to go here in the fourth. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Key possessions have been lost here for the Panthers as Navy looking to use as much time on that clock as possible. LaRocco up top to Flattery. He loses the ball. Ball's on the carpet. Picked up. By Benson. Brent Flack escapes trouble. Has Adams in the middle of the field, but he'll take it himself. McAdams has it. Escapes trouble. 4:30 now left to go. Each possession is critical now for the High Point Panthers. Rovier gets clogged up, gets it over to Hines. He takes his eyes off it, and it bounces off his stick.
Sticks flying everywhere here, just struggling to scoop up the ball.
Smart timeout comes in from head coach John Crowley. As that stops the possession, gives High Point the ball. And they'll be able to game plan here. 4:11 left to go here in the fourth quarter. And we knew this right from the jump. This is going to be a close battle through and through. But Navy, even with all the loss they experienced this offseason, have found a way to find success here in this matchup today. You have those beginning game woes, but these midshipmen have come out firing on all cylinders.
And again, you just said it a second ago, it's been back and forth throughout their entire series history, not only with just High Point and Navy, but also with Crawley and Navy over at John Hopkins. It's always back and forth. It's always tight. And now you have this game where really a 4-goal lead is almost a big lead when it comes to their history together. And it's just been spurts of momentum upon spurts of momentum. Both teams struggling to keep their foot fully on the pedal, but Navy been the better beneficiary when it comes to finding answers and responses to offensive spurts.
And we've seen High Point cut into this lead a little bit, but High Point scores and Navy fouls that one right up with a goal. It's been hard for this Panther team to try to claw their way back. Luca Accardo willing this team back into this contest, but there's only so much he can do at the face-off X. It's the offense that needs to get it done.
And again, big shoes to fill with Colin Hoban gone, and Luca's done a great job to step up. And his arsenal is just so in-depth. It runs so deep. He's got a tremendous amount of great moves, and we've seen him today.
And it's a long lineage of great face-off guys for the High Point Panthers. Davis Sampier, Colin Hoban, and now Luca Accardo. Under 4 minutes now. Navy in their zone defense. Brent Fleck had a step. Wickstead with 10 seconds left. Lutzel steps in, and popcorn for Dan Daly has been unstoppable on those shots from the top of the box. Queen slow things down with 3:20 left to go.
Need a defensive stop here.
3 minutes now left to go in the fourth. LaRocco finds Conway. Conway double-teamed. Westbrook with a risky over-the-head check as Flattery picks it up. .230 now. over and back is called, and High Point gets the possession. .220 now left to go. Time is running out.
Got to move quick.
Wickstead rolls back, steps in, and that one goes off the helmet of a midshipman again. Bren Flack goes down. Looks like it's a bit of a stinger.
Might have hit him.
As the midshipmen hold possession here with 2:03 left to go here in the fourth. Navy has yet to beat High Point in their short history. Looking to add more fuel to the rivalry. Oh, very close for A.J. Marsh. Already has a goal in today's contest and was a large part as their fire starter in this matchup. 1:40 left to go. The mid still with the 4-0 lead. Westbrook providing pressure.
You just can't knock it out.
Ball's out right on cue, Jimmy. Rove picks it up. 1:15 left to go. Can't waste any time here. Get the ball and go to the rack. Hines upfield. Risky pass on the inside and scooped up by Navy. Flag up in the air, and looks like it's going to be a push without possession. As it appears LaRocco had the brunt end of that hit, but great to see him get up on his own power as he gingerly walks off the field here today. 48 seconds left to go. And we'll take another look at that. A big blow coming in the middle of the field and an unneeded hit here in today's matchup.
It could be frustration, emotion starting to fly. You're down 48 seconds left. It's about that time where you're starting to realize that there isn't much time.
So Ryan Hines will serve the penalty. A minute. These Panthers will be man down, but it appears that is going to be the end of today's contest, as that was just an unnecessary hit from Ryan Hines. Overend with tunnel vision, unable to see behind him. And Navy will be victorious here in 2025. The midshipmen, for their first time against the High Point Panthers, will find victory here at Vert Stadium. What a matchup it was to kick things off here in 2025. The midshipmen play spoiler as the Panthers kick off their new era with an unfortunate loss. What a game, Jimmy. Back and forth throughout that first half, and that second half was really where we saw the midshipmen take control.
Yeah, we kind of got a feeling for it right away in the first quarter that this was going to be a game of momentum, and it was going to go back and forth. I mean, we saw this with High Point all last season. We've seen it in past history between these two teams. it's back and forth, and it's who can control the game more. And in the second half, we just really saw Navy come alive. They found their rhythm. They found the answers to the Panthers. And again, it's an inexperienced team in the manner that they have a whole new staff. They're still getting used to this new offense, this new vibe of the team, and really just a big change to a program. So it's going to take some time for it to settle in. It'll take some time for them to solidify. But you got to be happy if you're the Panthers, just as a whole, of how much clean play you've had, because you lost a lot of guys, and there's a lot of question as to what the future holds for this program. But Coach Crawley's really trying to mold it into something, and you saw it here today. A loss, but a well-fought game, to say the least.
The Panthers have the opportunity to be special, and it's going to take some time. Like you said, they're still searching for their identity, but that is going to do it here on ESPN+. The Midshipmen defeat the Panthers 14-10. As we say thank you so much for tuning in to today's broadcast. For my partner, Jimmy Roselli, for my producer, Chris Jones, thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast. We will see you next time